This time I would like to turn the gavel over to Dr. Mark Letterman for the purpose of installation of the President of the American Podiatric Medical Association.
Will the Connecticut delegation, family, and friends please escort Dr. Davis to the podium for installation? To present to you and the assembled guests, Dr. Daniel Davis, who has been elected President of the American Podiatric Medical Association. Dr. Davis, you have been elected by your colleagues to the highest office in this profession. Your duties will be many and varied, and we trust that you will perform them to the best of your ability. I will now administer the oath of office. Please raise your right hand. I, Daniel Davis, in the presence of these witnesses are assembled.
I, Daniel Davis, and in the presence of these witnesses assembled,
do solemnly promise
to
faithfully serve the American Podiatric Medical Association as President to the best of my ability.
To faithfully serve the American Podiatric Medical Association to the best of my ability.
I further promise that I will be fair and impartial in my dealings.
I further promise to be fair and impartial in my dealings.
And will uphold the bylaws of the American Podiatric Medical Association.
And will uphold the bylaws of the American Podiatric Medical Association.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure to present to you this gavel of authority. I admonish you to wield it with courtesy and impartiality and fairness, leading those who follow you gladly because you prove your willingness to listen to counsel as well as to give it. Congratulations, my friend.
Wow. Where do I start? I'd like to thank the members of the Academy. Wrong speech. Sorry. Dr. Speaker, honored guests, delegates, my fellow trustees and APMA staff, and honored guests. It is with utmost humility that I accept this great honor that you have bestowed upon me to lead this prestigious organization as the 90th President of the American Podiatric Medical Association. I am ecstatic that so many of my relatives, staff, and colleagues have made the trip here to Washington, D.C. to be here today. I am honored and grateful that you are sharing this day with me. I have my wife, Mary Ann, who is the most patient person that I know, who has allowed me to follow my passion. I have my children, Russell, Jeremy, Natalie, and Douglas, who the first time they saw the presidential suite years ago said, "Dad, you're going to have to make a run for president." They were also the ones who gave me the green light to begin my journey on the Board of Trustees. Please indulge me, and I've got to mention I've got my aunt and uncle, Ed and Lainey Davis. I got my two older brothers, Gary and Ron, and my younger sister, Wendy, Katie, my niece, her husband, Eric, my nephews, Garrett, girlfriend, Rusty. I've got Zach, my other nephew, here with his fiance, Amy, there we go. My business partner, Dr. Mark Schickler, who has tolerated my time out of office, and his wife, Patty. My new associate, Dr. Denise Riera, who I am still afraid I'm burning her out, and her husband, Juan Carlos. Dr. Jeff Yale and his wife, who traveled here from Florida, and whose father was the past president of APMA from Connecticut. Dr. David Novicki, back, who recruited me to Connecticut, and I thank you for that recruitment, Dave. My two nurses, Catherine and Maria, who have to put up with all of my schedule changes. My friends and colleagues from Connecticut, who made this long trip here to share this occasion. My heartfelt thanks to all of you. We have much to accomplish this year, but we cannot address this journey until I have addressed 3 rumors that have surfaced in the past few days. I'll tell you right now, I hate rumors. There are no rumors, there's no innuendos, and no questions that I will not address during my tenure as the APMA president. Ask for questions. If I do not have the answer, I will find it for you. And if there are any rumors, I will respond to them. So addressing the first of these rumors, rumor number 1 is that I must drink 8 or 10 cups of coffee to drink and talk as fast as this I must do, and I must have this much energy. It must be the coffee, but that is simply not true. I am inordinately blessed with energy. You can ask my family, you can ask my staff, you can ask the OR crews with whom I work several nights a week. I am energetic, and I quite frankly can put the Energizer Bunny to shame. I promised all of you that I will give every ounce of my energy to this organization during my year as president. I can also tell you that I do talk this fast naturally without coffee, and that this will be probably the fastest delivery of a presidential address in the history of APMA. Rumor number 2 is that I am a shy, reserved individual who keeps his opinion to himself. Really? If there's any truth to this rumor, it's that I actually hate politics. No kidding. But growing up, my parents said, never complain about anything unless I got involved and at least tried to change or improve whatever it was that concerned me in the first place. I have come to realize that if you get elected to any office in this organization and you remember why you are here, to serve and protect our members, to advance this profession, you could eventually be standing here before this House giving a presidential address. I've also come to realize that if every elected official in this country remembered why he was elected into office, to serve and do what is right for the people and citizens of the United States, that we would have the most progressive country in the world with the lowest unemployment rate, best economy, and yes, we would have the best healthcare system in the world. Truth be told, I am not shy, and as many as you know, I am quite vocal. I will never stay quiet in the face of any discrimination against any of our members. I will always be vocal until we are defined as physicians in every aspect of the law. I will speak my mind until parity has been reached with our allopathic and osteopathic colleagues. If you want shy and reserved, you got the wrong person here. The third rumor is that I might have a little bit of passion for this profession. Okay, guilty as charged. Passion, defined by Webster's dictionary, is a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for doing something or about doing something. And for you young physicians, if you Google the word passion, it is defined as a strong and barely controllable emotion. I might just fit those definitions. When I was growing up, my parents would say, follow your passion. Most of you don't know this, but my passion for podiatry started with my 2 older brothers, who I'm happy to say are here today. I'm not even sure that they knew that, but growing up, we would play cowboys and Indians. I was the cowboy and they were the Indians. I was tied up so many times and shot with those rubber-tipped arrows that I can't even begin to count that high. As a result, I did develop a passion for running. And I found out after a while that my brothers couldn't catch me. And as I got to high school and college, I found that other runners could not catch me. And if you read the wonderfully done article in the APMA News that was written by Peggy Tresky from our communications department at APMA, you will know that it was a foot injury from running that directly led me into the field of podiatric medicine. When no other medical discipline gave me any hope, Dr. John Albright, a podiatrist, did. His treatment was not only successful, but I became the first All-American at Bucknell University. I was impressed with this field. And as you also perhaps read in that article, when I told my parents I was going to become a podiatrist, my mother cried. She sobbed, "You're supposed to be a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon, not a foot and ankle surgeon." She said podiatrists didn't get the respect that they deserve, not as individual doctors and nor as a profession. She said podiatrists are the underdogs of medicine. I replied, "I've always had a passion for underdogs." And she said, "All right then, follow your passion." By the way, I was called one day by my grandmother's doctor, who said that my grandmother's arthritic feet were now so bad that if I did not operate on them, her life expectancy would be greatly shortened by her inability to walk. She was 79 years old when I did a Hoffman-Clayton procedure on her, and for the remaining years on this earth, she walked without pain. My mother was grateful I had followed my passion, and she said I needed to do 3 things. Number 1, get involved in your profession. Number 2, use your passion to make a difference. And number 3, now fix my foot. If you look around this House of Delegates, you will see, you will feel the passion for this profession here now more than any other time of any gathering of podiatric physicians. We all have passion. You would not be here, you would not have been elected to serve here unless your component recognized or felt your passion to be here to advance this profession further into the 21st century. The history of passion that I've seen since I first became a delegate in 1991 is quite rich. You felt the passion of Dr. Walter Clark. You can still feel the passion of this profession from Dr. Ollie Foster, whom so many of us were blessed to know, and one of the triumvirate of the Kaplan-Clark-Foster APMA Pac Golf Tournament, who was named one of those 3. We will all miss Ollie Foster, but his passion for this profession will live here forever. I could mention several other names, especially several other presidents that I've had the honor to serve during my tenure on the Board of Trustees. Many of them are here today. They all have passion, and each one of them gave him or herself a big part of themselves for this profession. But if there was one DPM in my mind, and probably many of yours as well, who could be considered, I believe, the father of podiatric passion, it would be Dr. Irv Cannon. You could feel his passion the moment he spoke, with each invocation that he delivered, each resolution that he discussed, and each bylaw that he debated. His passion was felt here and with every resident that he trained. And there was a resounding message behind Irv's passion, and that was, make a difference. In a strange way, the bottom line here is, have we here at APMA made a difference? In a strange way, I like when a member asks me that. What has APMA done for me? I would reply that every time you use your electronic medical records, you can see the answer to your question every day. When podiatrists were eliminated from electronic healthcare record reimbursement incentives, it was APMA that fought for our members to be included in the $42,500 reimbursement per doctor in every podiatric medical practice. Every day that you use your electronic medical records and properly code for your service, it is the APMA's Coding Resource Center that can take each and every podiatric-specific ICD-9 code to the proper ICD-10 code through a simple crosswalk. No other medical organization had the foresight to start training its members on ICD-10 years ahead of its time than APMA. APMA did it and it continues to do it for its members. There is no $3,000 accreditation and surety bond fee for dispensing DME thanks to the efforts of APMA. No other organization educates the public better than APMA about podiatric medicine. There's more than 1.2 billion, with a B, media impressions last year. No other organization provides more student scholarships, 295, worth $340,000 in the last year alone, and more than $2 million with about 2,155 scholarships to our students since APMA took over the fund in 2005. It is APMA that provides free supplemental online lectures for residents to the Residency Education Resource Center. It is APMA that is invested in its young members to help train and prepare them for leadership roles in the future. Our young members are our future, and as I've said before, we are their future. It is APMA that stepped in to protect our members when Medicare LCD changes infringed on our scope of practice to prescribe pneumatic compression devices and to monitor HBO treatment. It was APMA that worked collaboratively with our CAC and PIAC reps to revise those ICD-10 codes that were excluded that are specific to our profession. The APMA scientific meeting that is held annually is the largest educational and surgical podiatric meeting in the world. No other organization advocates for our members, protects the rights of our members, and strives to achieve parity for our members the way APMA does. It was APMA that introduced legislation through Congressman Brad Wenstrup, who was a podiatrist, and we passed the VA parity bill in the House. We will see success in the Senate this year and to ultimately be signed by the President. This will set the foundation for parity in the military and ultimately the passage of our HELP Act for the definition of podiatrists as physicians in Title 19. I could spend the rest of this address answering what APMA does for its members, but we are at the start of a new year, and it's time for all of us to work together to make a difference. Passion by itself will not get us all that far. Passion needs focus, it needs direction, and most of all, it needs commitment. Our Board of Trustees, our committees, our components, our staff, our affiliates, we have to work together like we've never done so in the past. The issues before us are great. The issues include student recruitment, membership recruitment and retention, 21st century advancement for our pathway to parity, establishment of a registry, brand new idea that is going to be amazing, our legislative agenda, our strategic plan, and our governance report. We must tackle the issue of student recruitment with an organized strategic plan to protect this profession's future. Every member, every group, and organization within APMA is a stakeholder in this issue. The AACPM, ASPS, ABPM, ABFAS, ACFOM, APMA, PICA, and yes, ACFAS. These groups must come together and work collaboratively to set a strategic plan, and not just address this issue, but to solve this problem once and for all. You probably know this one, Resolution 1415. It called for a governance and management review of this organization. You've heard the report. This is a groundbreaking evaluation of this organization with revolutionary changes proposed in the business, financial, and election processes and in the makeup of the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees has, as directed, delivered an action plan on how to consider implementation of the changes proposed in this report. There will be 4 task forces assembled to consider, debate, and potentially propose a method of implementation of each of these areas of change. Some of these task forces will report back at next year's House of Delegates, and I would ask that if anyone here is interested in serving in any one of these task forces, please send me an email to express your interest. I will do my best to fulfill your request. This is not going to be a small task. We will hold a membership summit this year, not only to retain our significant share of members of podiatric physicians, but to increase our numbers to make APMA even stronger. Gaining new members strengthens our voice for this profession, and it will also strengthen our organization financially. We plan on hiring a marketing strategist. They will showcase our products and services to members. We are conducting a feasibility study for a registry that would allow us to gather podiatric-specific data, not unlike what we did for Thomson Reuters study, but even better and much more diverse. This registry will allow us to negotiate for services and perhaps even allow us to develop an alternate payment model to benefit our members. This will bring value to our members and will be an outstanding member benefit that will advance this profession for years to come. We will continue to update our Coding Resource Center to provide the most up-to-date coding services for our members in an effort to increase our membership numbers. By increasing our membership, we will gain strength, and once again, there is strength in unity. As you heard this morning at the end of last year's annual meeting, we will begin to develop a 5-year strategic plan that incorporated the input of a broad sample of our members. I will remind you of the goals that we discussed this morning: to advocate, educate, research, lead, and manage. APMA will continue to advocate on behalf of each and every member to achieve parity with MDs and DOs, to practice to the full extent of our education, training, and experience, and to improve the access of patients to our care. The pathway to parity must continue. Our eyes continue to follow the California Podiatric Medical Association's quest for physicians and surgeons certification, working in concert with the California Medical Association. The bar of this profession was raised with Vision 2015, but we have not reached our goal as yet. A cornerstone for parity involves the passage of our HELP Act. As I noted earlier, our legislative committee, in conjunction with our APMA PAC, has chosen a strategic and unique path to achieve this goal. It is no secret that our APMA PAC is critical to the success of our legislative initiatives. It is certainly my hope that every member in this House supports the APMA PAC. We are the leaders of this profession, and we need to lead by example. We have had 100% participation by every member of our Board of Trustees of $1,000 per trustee minimum every year to support the APMA PAC initiatives. And now, for Billy Dabba Dabba Doo, for Gary Kaplan, Gene Spector, and yes, for Ollie Foster, which I promised you I would do this, Ollie. It's an APMA PAC commercial. If you are looking for a new and unique way to contribute to the APMA PAC, come to the Kaplan Clark Foster Golf Tournament for an absolutely fabulous time while supporting our APMA PAC. It is a 4-day event runs from September 21st to 25th to be held at the magnificent PGA National Resort and Spa at the Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. That is nothing short of fun for golfers of all ability. That includes golfers like myself. This event has raised $750,000 for the APMA PAC, and we are hoping to see you there. How was that, Ollie? And now, back to our strategic plan. We will continue to educate our members with webinars, coding committee presentations to prepare our members, and of course, continue to provide the largest annual podiatric educational program. We will continue to educate our patients and the healthcare community about the training and education of today's podiatric physician. We will encourage research through the completion of effective clinical and socioeconomic outcome studies. Our Thomson Reuters study, which was corroborated by the Duke University study, has shown the value of podiatric physician as an integral part of the healthcare team. We will lead through the development of future leaders in our profession, exceptional membership engagement, continuing to use our weekly focus and leadership focus that I hope every blessed one of you will open. It causes an increased communication between our members and our leaders of our association, and we will continue to lead through effective governance. We will continue to successfully manage the financials of this organization, as well as operational and member recruitment efforts. This strategic plan will allow APMA to better prioritize the many initiatives it undertakes and the allocation of resources to each of those alternatives and initiatives. This plan will provide a framework for members to understand APMA's efforts on behalf of its members as APMA directly relates its strategic plan to its operational and budgeting process. The strategic plan is a firm foundation for this association and the profession as it continues along the pathway to parity. Lastly, we are counting on you to help accomplish these goals and ultimately make a difference. Here in the House of Delegates is the knowledge, the energy, the passion, and commitment to accomplish these goals this coming year. Within these walls are the committees, the trustees, the APMA staff, and delegates whom I will challenge to work together to bring APMA further into the 21st century. Committees are the infrastructure of the success of any organization, and my heartfelt thanks goes out to each and every one of you who have made the commitment of your time and expertise to serve on APMA committees this year. You'll be working hard this year to accomplish many of the goals set before you today. My personal thanks to the chairs of each of the committees and the immediate past chairs who will guide the success of each of your select groups. I was blessed with far more volunteers than I had slots to fill. And that's a nice position to be in, to fill committee slots, but I personally felt bad that I could not give every member who volunteered an immediate position on a committee. I have had many members on a list of reserves in case any vacancies occur during this year, and I do hope that you will step in and step up to fill those positions if a vacancy occurs. Thank you once again for your willingness to serve, and Dr. Kraus tomorrow will start filling his committees. To my right are 12 volunteers that you have elected as trustees of this association. Yes, volunteers. These people have a passion, a love, and a commitment for this profession. Each one of them has made a commitment of 13 years of their life to serve this profession. A guy named Gordon B. Hinckley wrote a quote that said, "The happiest people I know are those who lose themselves in the service of others." And that is a quote that is truly befitting of this group of individuals. On a personal note, I would like to express my thanks to past President Frank Spinoza, and for the work that you've done, Phil, in the last year. It was truly amazing. It really was. Dr. Kraus, I will be counting on your innovative thought and counsel this year. Dr. Frisch, I look to your continuing independent thinking. Dr. Edwards, to your honest dedication to this profession. Dr. Rubenstein, to your continued wisdom on so blessed many subjects. Dr. DeSantis, to your continued leadership on the pathway to parity. Dr. Verbulis, on your eloquence and creativity. Dr. Pickard, for your steadfast, bulldog, and tenacious resolve to protect our members. Dr. Santi, for your continued expertise on coding. Dr. Bisbee, for your fantastic representation and interaction with our RUC and CPT team to protect the services of this organization and profession. Dr. DeHeer, my thanks for stepping up as the Legislative Committee Chair. I am proud to be able to lead you this year, and I'm going to work your butts off. Our committees must work with our board, and both must work in concert with the APMA staff. To my APMA staff, you know that you have my greatest respect and thanks for the work that you do for this association. The word commitment truly rings when I refer to each and every one of you. These are people who have committed their lives and their talents to this profession. They are truly the nucleus of the work that gets done, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And that goes, and I'm going to take one little bit of personal privilege from watching Stephanie Simmons, Jeanette Russell, Tiffany Kildale, and Ann Martinez prepare for such a successful House of Delegates. To Scott Haig, Harry Goldsmith, Gail Reese, who continue to work on the Coding Resource Center. To the young lady I've had the absolute utmost pleasure to work with the last 5 years as Chair of Development, to Heather Palmer, Melanie Carter and Sandra Ares, who raised the money in development to provide the quality educational programs that we have throughout the year and raise scholarship dollars for our students. To Kathy Balderson and Maria Ryback, who prepared the annual scientific meeting, which will be held in Philadelphia this year in conjunction with Region 3. I certainly hope to see all of you there this year. To Peggy Tresky, Will Scott, and Amy Kondayan in the Communications Department, who put APMA in this profession in the spotlight every day. To Beth Schaub and the team who handle the membership of nearly 75 to 80% of the podiatric physicians who belong to the APMA. To Ben Wallner and Peter Stein, who have helped orchestrate the passage of the VA parity bill in the House and who will lead the efforts of our legislative agendas. We have been told by legislative advisors that we need a bigger grassroots effort. We have heard this time and time again. This year, we will once again distribute a petition to each one of our members to have our patients sign in support of our legislative efforts. We are investigating a variety of methods to get those petitions to both our members and our patients, from hard copy mailings to digital platforms such as change.org. Our patient's signature will directly demonstrate to our representatives and senators that their constituents support us. That is grassroots at its best. As a result, those legislators need not only support our bill, but they should co-sponsor it as well. I encourage each one of you not just to take this message back to your components, but to motivate your members to support this initiative. The grassroots efforts actually starts right here. We have also, going back to our wonderful staff, we have the return of the talent and expertise of Dennis Russell as our new financial CEO. Welcome back, Dennis. I have the distinct honor of serving the first full year with our new executive director, Dr. Jim Christina. Jim, you have big shoes to fill, and I'll tell you what, you are off to a fantastic start of filling them. Really great job in it. I'm really looking forward to working with you this year. I look forward to your passion and your commitment for the first of your many years to come on this association. Last night, we had a farewell celebration to Dr. Glenn Gassworth. Glenn, my personal thanks for all of your years of service. You had a quote from Woody Hayes, and I don't have to say it, but I'll do it anyways. You win with people. Glenn, we won with you. And of course, last but not least, our executive director deputy, and that is Dr. Jay Levrio, and simply put, he is the ace of our staff. And finally, yes, finally, it is this House of Delegates that must come together to work with our committees, our APMA staff, and work with and trust the very trustees that you have elected to lead this organization. We must come together with vision, with confidence, and trust. The goals to move this profession to parity with our MD and colleagues is a big one, but we can do it. We will have the goal to achieve a consistent and significantly higher student applicant pool. We will have the goal to increase our membership and our membership retention. We will have the goal to achieve defined parity in the VA, the military, and Title XIX. We will come together with the goal to accept the challenge to objectively evaluate the governance and management report with the goal to successfully implement our strategic plan. It is time. It is time for all of us to renew our commitment to APMA. It is time to renew our passion for this great profession. We have a set of great goals to accomplish. And there is a quote by Jim Collins, one of my favorites, that nothing great can be accomplished without passion. To all of you, I pledge you my energy. I give you my commitment. I promise you my passion. We will do great things this year, and we will make a difference. Thank you very much.